Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among many other things. And at this point, what we do is we just take a quick look at the technical analysis for VTHO, which is VeThor token, and we're taking a closer look at the recent price action, seeing what's happening with the retracement from Bitcoin recently, which is from the news regarding Amazon not allowing Bitcoin moving forward. And then, of course, just obviously a few other things too. Best practice, helping you trade for a lifetime instead of just for one day. Now, just know I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes. Only you can do your own research and take ownership of your trades. Now, I'm not a financial advisor again, like I mentioned, but I do have years of trading experience, and my goal is to help you trade for a lifetime instead of just for one day. So if you'd like, to kind of sit on autopilot, I do have a signal group where I share my trades with my community and send out signals when I make them, or when I start a trade, of course, and when I close them, etc. It's all in the description below. Feel free to reference that in your own time. That's available through Patreon. But moving forward, also recommend you check out my Telegram community because there's a ton of good information there. You can learn a lot, have some fun, and the community's growing. So you're welcome to join that too. Love to see you around. But without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and get right to the analysis? Let's check it out. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at VTHO. And just before we do, we always look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first to get a baseline of the market so we know what's going on with the two largest coins in the market, okay? And it's good to do this because if you understand the big picture, then it really helps you understand what's going to happen with this coin, right? Most all altcoins are reliant on Bitcoin. It is the the bee's knees, so to speak. We need to know what those needs are telling us, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin here first. Now to preface, this is TradingView.com desktop application. This is one of the I think the premium paid version essentially that just gives me tons of indicators. I recommend something similar, a paid version at least, so you can follow along and have all the right indicators up. I have a link in the description below for a free month if you'd like to check that out. But either way, I use the simple moving average, which is the 200 and the 50 on the 4-hour chart. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart here because this is the main chart I use for these indicators, but also more importantly, the support and resistance levels. So let's take a look at that here now. First thing to note is that we have a major resistance at 40,500. That was tested a few times in the past, as you can see, never truly officially broke. It just kind of tested and rejected. So that happened again here today, so that's the next major resistance level. Current support at about 37,000. Now this hasn't been tied and tested here recently. It was a few times in the past, but more importantly right now, it's kind of establishing itself as a support. Okay, that's what I see here so far. We've also got a support of about 30,000 even though the price broke below that for one day, it came back and stayed above. But right now, Bitcoin was on a tear, doing very, very well, tested 40,500, retraced back down because of the news from Amazon that they're not going to accept Bitcoin in the near future. That was on speculation. I think that might be why the short squeeze occurred in the first place, but suffice to say that is not happening, and that is the reason for this retracement here. So we should expect to see the price kind of continue between 37 and 40,500. If it breaks below 35 to 36,500 is another support channel. So just bear that in mind. Major support and only supports from the 50 and the 200-day simple moving averages. These will not be tested for some time unless Bitcoin sells off massively and or the price continues to go sideways. But for right now, we don't need to worry about that. So that's kind of the state of Bitcoin right now. Ethereum is the same thing as well, only just much poorer, if that makes sense. In other words, Ethereum should be upwards of the 2,900 range if it was following Bitcoin to a T, because that's how much volume Bitcoin had moved in the last 5 trading days. However, we don't see that from Ethereum. Yes, it's increasing. It's doing well for Ethereum, but it's not doing as well as it typically does, right? It normally does a really strong increase, and it's not doing that right now. Okay, so for the last 2 months, I guess you could say the growth of Ethereum is stunted. It's a child that drank too much caffeine as a kid, and he didn't get very tall. If that makes sense, I don't know. That's not always true, so don't quote me on that. But that's essentially the analogy that we're looking at here, right? Ethereum drank too much coffee, got really amped up, and isn't doing anything right now. So that being said, Ethereum's doing Ethereum. It's just kind of a less fortunate version of Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and take a look at VTHO, and we'll look at the one-day chart first, okay? Now, we always look at the one-day chart to kind of take a look at the average true range of the coin, right? So if we look at April 17th, which is right here, this major sell-off here, if you look at the price action before then, price was averaging about 0.013, in other words, 0.013 upwards of 0.020, okay? So that was the average range itself, right? Now it's much lower. Of course, that makes sense because obviously we had some major retracements. You know, they got the Elon candle, the China candle right here. You can pick it out of a hat, so long, that long red candle. And it's been struggling ever since, but all altcoins did that, right? But the bottom line is that VTHO was capable, yes, even though Bitcoin was at 50, 60,000, it is capable of 0.013 upwards of 0.020, okay? So that being said, that gives us potential. So if Bitcoin breaks 40,000, starts trending towards 50, we could see a large, significant breakout from VTHO to shoot upwards of at least the previous support level at about 0.014. So right in this range here. Okay, so just keep that in mind as something I like to note. Also, same thing happens with a lot of other altcoins right now, based on the price movement being similar. We are seeing the 50-day simple moving average working as resistance. That's right. That's happening right now. It broke above, but it didn't close above. Therefore, it's still below. RSI right around 50. Pretty standard right now at this point. Also had a convergence on the 23rd. It was a kind of a late bloomer, so to speak. Usually we see that convergence on the 21st. But nonetheless, it was ramped up and done very well for itself, more specifically in the last 24 hours. And that's because of the massive ramp up from Bitcoin. And of course, the sell-off caused it to come back down below the 50. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart next with VTHO. Okay, so VTHO, the 4-hour chart, we can see that the 200 is working as a support. So it's tested a couple times, rejected. So at this point in time, we shouldn't expect the price to break below 0.0058, pending Bitcoin doesn't go south, massively, right? So Bitcoin stays above 35,000. VTHO will probably test that and reject it, keep it above, because it's been, too low for too long, and people are saying, hey, the price needs to be higher than this point, right? The last 200 days, it's been very low. We need the price to be above that. Furthermore, we have the RSI up over 70 previously, but it retraced back down, all good. So there's more room for growth, so we could see more improvement there. Furthermore, we also had a bounce off of it was, instead of a divergence, it became a convergence on the 25th. That was just yesterday. So pretty standard stuff here from VTHO. All in all, very good standard stuff, but standard nonetheless, because it does mirror a lot of other coins. In fact, VTHO performs very similar to the ADAs and the Matics and even the VETs, of course, which is its corresponding coin. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 1-hour chart and see what's going on here. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and disable the simple moving averages because they're not really all that effective in my personal opinion on shorter time frames. You use exponential moving averages on the 15-minute chart or lower. So the 1-hour chart, to me, again, this is just my opinion, is the best time frame for the Ichimoku cloud. And if you're new to the channel, the Ichimoku cloud just pretty much gives us, buy signals and sell signals. It also works as a continuous support and resistance. So right here, we can see the price broke above, obvious buy signal. Same here as well, buy signal, buy signal. When it's in the cloud, that's a no zone. You don't buy in there, you don't buy in here. Okay. When it breaks below the cloud, you sell, you short, price goes down, you make some money. That's the general concept of how the Ichimoku cloud works. And right now, it's above, obviously, because it ramped up so quick, but it will be trending into the clouds here soon if we see a lot more sideways action. But what would be nice is if the price does come down, it'll bounce off of the cloud. So sometimes it'll come down like this and kind of go in and then come right back up. It does work as a support level in a lot of cases, as we kind of saw here. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there for the Ichimoku cloud. Next thing I like to look at is TD sequential, see if we have a state of exhaustion yet or not. I don't see one happening. We are at basically 5 of the red candles. So long story short, with this retracement here, we have potentially 4 more hours of retracement, and it might come back up and ramp back up. Okay. So that's usually how the TD sequential works. It kind of takes the 4th previous candlestick and then measures if it's above or below, and then it either counts up or resets. In this case, we have a reset at a 1 possibly. It hasn't closed yet, or could just continue down. There we go. And see, we're trying to do a 5. If it continues on, in just in other words, we might see a little bit more retracement and bearish action before the price comes back up. Again, this is all fairly reliant on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's doing the same thing, let's actually take a quick look. Bitcoin is, essentially the same thing. It's trying to reset and count back up from a 1. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. Let's go ahead and move on to the 15-minute chart. And we're just going to take a quick peek at the EMA and VWAP indicators. So if you are new to the channel and you just say, for example, don't know what EMA and VWAP is, EMA is exponential moving average. I use the 15 on the 15-minute chart. It works the most effectively for me. I like to blend the average of the 9 and the 20 because those are the defaults, and I just use the 15. Furthermore, I use the VWAP as well, which is this blue line. That's the volume weighted average price. Takes the volume of the last 24 hours, expresses it as a price. So we know right now the price is under VWAP, therefore we are under resistance, and it's working as a temporary resistance line. Right? And as you can see here, though, look at this. Price comes up, bounces off EMA VWAP, bounces off VWAP. So it works as a continuous support level. Or resistance if the inverse applies, right? Which is basically right now. But the benefit of this whole scenario is the fact that when you use these two things together, it gives you like kind of a double reassurance that you're trending in the right direction, because the EMA line is kind of like a momentous indicator. It's the same indicators you'll find on the MACD, right? Where the 12 intersects with the 26, only this is just a 15 moving on top of the price. So it's helpful in that sense when the price is above, works as a support, or continuous bullish momentum indicator, and same thing with the inverse as well. So just keep that in mind. And what I always like to look for is bullish trends. In other words, when you see two continuous green candlesticks above the price action, that tells you that the price is going to be trending in that same direction, or the likelihood of it is much higher. So here's a better example here. Let's take a look at this guy here. You can see these little yellow up arrows. I provide that to my signal group, of course. Link in the description below, but I have a signal group where I just send out a few signals per week. And we're training about a 70-80% success rate right now. And I utilize these same skill sets, these same tactics I'm showing you right now. And what it is this thing is an indicator. It's a notification that'll tell you when the price is above or below a specific scenario. In other words, the scenario I have set is a price above VWAP and EMA, right? Telling you it's more of a bullish trend. Furthermore, this also tells you that we have two green candlesticks closing above EMA and VWAP, and that confirms the fact that we have 30 minutes of confirmation, okay? Now, 30 minutes of confirmation is important because if you use less time frame, just say a 5-minute confirmation, then the price could likely turn around on you, right? But if you have just say 30 minutes of the bulls taking complete control, there's a strong chance, minus the potential retracement, that they're going to stay and remain in control. As you can see here, they stayed in control, they continued over, price went up, and hypothetically around here would have been a good time to sell. And you see these purple indicators, that's basically telling you RSI is over, RSI is over 70. So if you see that here, as soon as the RSI comes up over 70, you could trim your position, or wait until it comes back down. Sell right around here, maybe get a few more percent. Either way, those are just things that I look for and I utilize consistently. So I hope you did find benefit here. If you do, please like and subscribe. Consider supporting the channel in any way, shape, or form. But thumbs up, of course, appreciate that. And share this with your friends if you find benefit. Also, feel free to reference my Telegram community. Really good group of folks there. You can learn a lot. Jump in there, get engaged, and we can. You can also message me if you'd like to, but I do try to reserve that for my patrons as well. So if you'd like direct communication with me, feel free to reference that in your own time. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.